Chapter 11. Trapped. When Hannah Gruen answered the telephone at the Drew residence, Nancy at once asked, "Is Laura all right?" "Why, of course," Hannah answered in surprise. "She's upstairs setting her hair for the party this afternoon." "Well, tell her to be very careful," Nancy urged. "Mr. Aborn has a detective looking for her." "Oh, dear!" exclaimed Mrs. Gruen. "And when will you be home, Nancy?" The young detective explained where she was and that she planned to stay at Melrose Lake and do more sleuthing. "I think I may be on the trail of something big." "I don't like the idea of you prowling around the Aborns' home in the dead of night," the housekeeper objected. "I'll be careful," Nancy promised. "I may even get home tonight." "Well, all right," Hannah consented reluctantly. "By the way, Nancy, I had a repairman fix the window in Mr. Drew's study this morning and also requested the police to keep a lookout for anything suspicious going on in this neighborhood." "Wonderful," Nancy said, feeling relieved. "Any more news?" "Everything's quiet here," Hannah reported. "And Laura seems happy." Laura came to speak to Nancy and was alarmed when she heard that a detective was looking for her. "But I won't go back to those awful Aborns. They can't make me. If they try it, I'll run right to the police." "That's a good idea," said Nancy. "By the way, I'd like to do some sleuthing at the Aborn house. I may want to get inside without ringing the bell." The young sleuth chuckled. "Since it's now your house, too, may I have permission to go in and look around?" "You certainly may," said Laura with a giggle. "If no doors are unlocked, try my bedroom window. I left it open a crack and there's a sturdy rose trellis right alongside it." "Terrific!" said Nancy elatedly. After she completed the call, Nancy went to the hotel coffee shop for a hearty lunch. Since it was now almost 1:30, the room was empty. After eating, Nancy put on her bathing suit and wandered down to the beach. A boy in attendance gave her a towel, and Nancy stretched out on the sand, unaware of the steadfast glance of a couple hidden behind a large green and white striped umbrella not far away. They nodded to each other. Then, when Nancy was not looking, they quickly left the beach. "Guess we're safe," the woman muttered. "She's here to stay and have a good time." As the strong rays of the sun beat down on the unsuspecting girl, she rehearsed her plan for the evening. When it was dark, she would visit both Jacob Aborn's home and also the shack in the woods, if time permitted. "I'll miss Dad's call tonight," Nancy reflected. Standing up half an hour later, Nancy put on her bathing cap and walked to the water. She stuck her toe in. The lake water felt icy cold, and Nancy noticed there were more people on the beach than in swimming. Nevertheless, she waded out to where it was deep enough to make a surface dive and plunged in. Once she was wet, the water was invigorating. After swimming for a while, Nancy came back to her beach towel and dried off. Then she returned to her room, showered, and slept for 2 hours, realizing that the rest would give her more endurance for the evening ahead. Awakening at 6 o'clock, Nancy put on the simple black cotton dress from her suitcase and pumps. After brushing her hair until it snapped with electricity, she was ready for supper. "What will it be this evening, miss?" asked the friendly waitress. Nancy selected a steak, a baked potato, and tossed salad, and then sat back to enjoy the soft dinner music playing in the background. The orchestra was in an adjoining lounge. Nearby diners regarded the lone girl with interest, for the prospect of the daring adventure had brought a becoming flush to her cheeks. "If I'm wrong in suspecting Jacob Aborn of being dishonest," thought Nancy, "then I guess I'd better give up sleuthing." Upon leaving the dining room an hour later, She lingered on the porch for a few minutes, watching couples dance. As a red-haired young man began to walk toward Nancy with an invitation in his eyes for her to dance, she hastily went to her room. Chuckling to herself, Nancy said aloud, "Romance and detective work won't mix tonight." Then she changed to walking shoes, sweater, and skirt. The moment it became dark enough for her purpose, Nancy left the hotel in her car. As she drew near the Aborns' Lane a short while later, she turned the convertible off the road and ran it into a clump of bushes where it would not be seen. Switching off the engine and locking the doors, Nancy started down the lane leading to the house, holding her flashlight securely. She found the windows of the house dark. "The Aborns are out, I guess," she told herself. "Well, that means I can do some looking around." Circling the structure cautiously, Nancy noted that the second-floor wing, where the bedrooms apparently were located, was in the back. She found the trellis easily. "I'll try the doors first," Nancy decided, and darted to the front. Gently turning the handle, she found the door locked. An investigation of 2 other doors revealed that they too were securely fastened. "I guess I'll have to climb after all," Nancy said to herself. As quietly as possible, she climbed the trellis. It wobbled and creaked a little, but did not give way. When Nancy reached the window ledge of Laura's bedroom, she found to her delight that the window raised easily. She crawled through and switched on her flashlight. As Nancy tiptoed across the room, which was in disorder, she heard a noise. Halting, she listened. A car was approaching the house. Looking out the window, she could barely make out the figures of a man and a woman who alighted. Who were they? And what should Nancy do? "I'll stay right here," she determined. As Nancy waited tensely, she realized someone was walking up the stairs. Quickly, Nancy closed the window without a sound. As she looked around for a hiding place, she saw a closet and darted inside it, switching off her flashlight. Crouched in a far corner behind some of Laura's dresses, Nancy scarcely dared to breathe. The door to the room was opened a moment later, and the boudoir lamps switched on. Cautiously, Nancy peered out through the keyhole in the closet door. She saw Jacob Aborn. The man went directly to Laura's dressing table. Apparently, he had not heard Nancy, for he did not glance toward the closet. Ruthlessly, he jerked out drawers from the dressing table and emptied their contents upon the bed. As he surveyed the assortment of tiny bottles, boxes, and other paraphernalia, Laura's guardian gave a disgusted grunt. "Last place to look," he said, as if addressing someone out in the hall, probably his wife. "Guess Laura really took the jewels with her. Well, I'll soon have them back." Nancy's heart leaped. There was no longer any doubt in her mind as to the character of this man. She was now certain that his sole interest in Laura was to get possession of her property. Only the girl's opportune escape from the house had prevented him from seizing the valuable jewelry collection. Laura's mother couldn't have known his true character, or she wouldn't have entrusted her daughter to Aborn's care, Nancy pondered. Her thoughts came to an abrupt end as the man moved toward the closet. Fearfully, Nancy ducked down behind Laura's dresses again and fervently hoped that she would not be discovered. Suddenly, as Nancy's legs began to grow cramped, the closet door was jerked violently open. Jacob Aborn looked in. End of chapter 11.